Hey guys, good day and good energy to y'all. So I just want to talk a little bit about just relationships and Joy. I hope you're doing all right. Um, but yeah, relationships. For me, I haven't, as I've said a few times, I haven't been in a real relationship in like 15 years, and as I think about why these things happen, there's a lot of reasons, but simply I think a lot of it has to do with just the society that we live in. Like I remember being in school, like girls would want to be in a relationship with me, like pretty attractive girls too, and I wouldn't want to get involved because I just didn't relate to them. Like it just there wasn't enough of a, I don't know, I guess I felt repelled by like cliques and groups and trendiness, and now that I know what I know, they're all spells. It's just a mind frame that us Americans, or whatever you want to call people of that generation, that time, that era, grew up in and around, and just things they absorbed and consumed and just did. So I was always felt like an outcast and pushed a lot of people away, and as I think about these things, and I'm listening to Joy talk about her relationships and things of this nature, and I think about other people's relationships and what I've seen, and I realize a lot of the reasons why I haven't been in relationships, and it just hasn't been what I needed to go through in my past, was because I just never fit in with the society. So part of being able to change things and help things is being able to relate to the issue. Wow, our power just went off. But being able to relate to things. So again, we manifest here. I think a lot of us chose to come here to be able to go through experiences, to be able to relate, to be able to help humanity, to be able to help life, creation, things that are sick and are unable to learn on their own free will, that they need help from outside assistance, as above, so below. So that's something I want to continue to bring up with myself and on my videos too, because they're, even for me, I got kind of caught up in the whole maybe it's just the end, and humanity's doomed, and there's nothing else and nothing more, but that really doesn't feel kosher to me. And again, as above, so below. So with that being said, how crazy things are here, wouldn't that mean that things are crazy up there too? And Joshua has told me that things do need a better reorder all over the place. I mean, everything's connected. You're only as strong as your weakest link. So again, like what's happening here on Earth with humanity, that even if we were to extinct the human population, if that were to be what is to happen and what is happening, which I don't think it is, it wouldn't solve any problems really. We would still have the same observation or perception of consciousness. Consciousness would still be at that same vibrational frequency. In fact, it would probably be even lower, because a lot of people would have died very traumatically, which will have its own reverberational effect. So, I think that humanity's gone through many different cycles of learning and destruction and so on and so forth, and we are in a specific time now where a number of us are back who are able and agreed. I think it was a mutual agreement that we all agreed together to come here at a certain time, different little variants here and there, but essentially the same time, a number of us, to change things. and it's for good. It's not just like a little change. Like the whole structure of the way humanity's been operating needs to change. Like it's a real necessity. Like it, it's creating a huge influx, and it's allowing a lot of chaotic energy to have power in places that can be very toxic. And we're on a fringe, I think, when it comes to how the power of good and evil. I mean, they're just getting, evil feels like it's got a lot of power, and it's at that point where something needs to come and counter, this spell, this black cloud, this infestation that has seeped into the skin and minds and souls of so many of us here. And so, that's what I think, myself and many others are here to do. And we set the example, we set the tone for everybody. And while we set this tone, this vibrational frequency, it's going to emit a certain energetic radiation, emission, that will, I think, act kind of like a force field, or it's like in video games. It's going to be energy that's literally just going to be pulsating and moving, and that's who you are all the time, vibrating. And then of course there's things we can do to amplify, and there's tools you can make and use and utilize to help maximize your effectiveness and do different things. But essentially, once enough of us are ready in the right locations, we're going to be able to, I think, literally like focus our abilities and move things away, and that will be an initiation, which will of course have its own effect. But I think this is kind of how things are going to go down, and how we're going to be able to relocate certain entities and energies and allow for new things to grow and prosper. And then once that starts to unravel, we can begin transmutating things and integrating a new way of being and living that will help to rejuvenate and refreshen and just realign and balance out and add an essential ingredient into the concoction of creation, which is just more love, more Most High love. Like we've had a lot of suffering, a lot of sickness, a lot of darkness. Like it's time for some vanilla. It's time for some goodness. It's time for some fun, some love, some happiness. And now that we've had all the darkness and the pain and all that, the mixture of the good coming in and mixing with the pain and healing, it's going to help to grow and cultivate a whole new expression of energy, really. I mean, just moments, memories, that help to grow everything a little bit more. And then each of these new memories that we grow and become and are more of, and they all also have their own reverberational effect on the whole universe. So by you growing and being more, you're also helping the universe grow and be more. And the more good you do, I think there's also going to be more bad. So like part of the problem I had with wanting to live a really righteous life was the idea of like, well, it would be kind of boring if everybody was just happy and righteous and there was nothing. What would we do? And I think that there's always going to be something to counteract something else. So the amount, I don't want people to think like, oh, well then, what's the earth going to be? It's going to be a bunch of happy people loving each other, and that sounds really boring. And it kind of does, but there's always going to be strife. There's always going to be conflict. There's always lessons to be learned. And another notion that came to my mind is, what would happen if humanity did figure out a way to coexist with each other and the environment in a truly harmonious way? Maybe that's like if you look at video games and stuff, like maybe that's what it takes for us all to get to a different level. I don't know. Or maybe, you get to, some new shit, you get access to new places and, treasures in heaven. And, which is also something I want to talk about, because I know Joy mentioned treasures in heaven and gold and things of this nature that are referenced in the Bible. And to me, I think they're symbolically relating to, feelings. treasures you store up in heaven are literally your love, your energy, your relationships, your goodness, your ability to move around. I think is also a huge reward. You know, when you start thinking about the ethers and the universe and stuff, I mean, for me, like, one of my biggest things, I like to explore. So, like, you know, the more good you do, the more responsibility you have for everything. I feel like the more access, the more allowance you have to go and interact with everything. So a possible treasure that you could have in heaven would be the ability to move around more, to know more, to engage more, to be more. So, but we symbolically use, you know, the word treasure and gold, and, you know, gold is, you know, you can look at that like, you know, the bright shining light of love or creation or what have you, which is symbolic and for the treasure. You know, that's the energy, that essence, that golden essence would be quite a treasure to possess. And then you also look at gold and gold, they're kind of the same, they sound very similar. And you know, the goal is to be golden, is to get into your Merkaba, your light ship, to have your chakras lined up, to have your heart as light as a feather, and, you know, be that gold, attain that goal, and be able to, you know, go wherever you can and learn what you got to go to, you know, keep going. And so anyway, I'm beginning to ramble a little bit, but I just wanted to make this video and just, you know, kind of share some of my ideas and how I think things might play out. So, all right, love you guys. Have a good day. All right, bye.